Hello and welcome to the course on MVP prototyping. My name is Michael John and I'm the Entrepreneurship Development Specialist here at Ventures Platform. So you've been able to validate your idea and you think that you have something going for you, and your potential customers are telling you that it's an awesome product and they would love to have it. What should you do next? The answer is, do not build a full-fledged product. Don't take all that money and sink it into rent or sink it into product development. Don't put millions of naira into it. What you need is an MVP. And in the MVP prototyping course, we'll teach you how to create an MVP and all the steps that are required. At the end of this course, you will be able to develop a prototype of your idea, your service, or your product. But first, what are the benefits of MVP prototyping? First and most importantly, an MVP prototype helps you save money. It helps you save time and it helps you save energy. A lot of times, customers are quick to tell you, yes, build the product, it'll work. But the truth is, until they're able to put their money where their mouth is, do not go ahead and put all your millions or thousands of naira or dollars into building that product. What you need to test if they will actually purchase your product or not is an MVP. Having an MVP can save you all the money you would have spent on rent, all the money you would have spent on development, and most importantly, the time that you would have spent doing all of these things. The second thing an MVP prototype will help you do is to get your first set of customers. So here's the thing, if they're able to buy what they said they will buy, it means that you're straight on your way to getting referrals for your product. And so you've created a pipeline by using a minimum amount of money to create your first MVP. The next thing is this. An MVP allows you to get feedback on your design. If the product fits perfectly or not, is it the right shape? Is it the right color? Maybe some functions are redundant. The first feedback comes from your MVP and your first paying users. The next thing is, an MVP allows you to experiment on what works best for the customer. So you could build multiple versions of an MVP as opposed to putting all that money into building one version of a product that you might get a bad feedback on. So let's move on to how exactly do you create an MVP? What are the steps? What are the things I need to do? What things I need to know to create a minimum viable product? That's what MVP means. So what is an MVP and what is MVP prototyping? An MVP simply stands for minimum viable product, and it is the most functional but least expensive product. Think of it as the first version of your product or service that'll cost you a minimum amount to create, but it'll be just as effective. Delivering the service and running its processes might not be as smooth as you want it to be, but it'll get the job done. And hence, MVP prototyping is the process of creating your very first MVP. And so with that definition, let's now understand how exactly we can go about creating an MVP. Step 1. And this step is the most important step. It is define the key functions of your product. So you've spoken to customers, or rather potential customers, and they've told you that they would like this, they would like that. This is the problem they're facing, and this is what they need a solution for, right? And you want to build that very first version of the product that will solve this problem. The most important thing that you need to list out is, what should the product be able to do? These are the functions. So in simple words, go ahead and list out the most important functions of your product or your service. Let me give you an example. So if you were to build a WhatsApp, the most important functionalities would be, I need to be able to add a contact or find a contact, send a message to a contact, that's number 2, and receive messages from contacts. So these are the 3 most important functions of a WhatsApp. And so you need to list out these things clearly and validate if these are the actual functions that the users want. This is very important and this is key. The second thing you want to do is to leverage already existing technology to make these functionalities happen. So here's the thing. You might want to go ahead and just go on, if you're a programmer, start programming, creating your own technology, which will cost you a lot of money. But there are tools that already exist. Some of them free, some of them will cost you minimal amount of money to use. Think to yourself, how best can I use tools that are already available to me to create these functions or to perform these functions for my potential customer? I'll give you another example. So let's take a company like Uber, right? What's the most basic function of Uber? For the rider, it'll be that Uber allows you to find a ride, allows you to get picked up, and it allows you to make payments. For the driver, it might be that Uber allows you to be found, to get a ride request, and to navigate where you're going to. It gives you a pickup and a drop-off address, and it allows you to receive money. On both sides, these are the key functionalities. So you could think to yourself, how best can I make this happen with already existing technology? So maybe I can leverage a social media platform like maybe WhatsApp or Facebook, and I could have a group, and I could tell people, if you want to ride, all you need to do is put your location and your destination, and we'll get you a driver. And people will put their locations and destinations, and you would manually call the driver, verify if the driver is available, and the driver would go and pick this person and drop this person off, and you would have to manually make the payment. But what you've proven is the concept. You've proven that people will be willing to pay to get someone pick them up. You've proven that people will be willing to put up their rides to pick other people up, and you've also have proven that people would want to make payment through you. And this is your MVP of an Uber app. So, step number 2, leverage already existing technology to build your MVP. Lesson number 3, now when you've leveraged already existing technology and you've figured out how to use it to perform these functions that your potential customers want, it's time to test. So go ahead and test if your customers are actually willing to use this MVP to solve their problems. Test with a small group of people. Do not make the mistake of sending it to a large group of people, because what happens is you put your brand image at risk, you put your person at risk, you might seem like a fraud, and you don't want all that. What you want is people in your close circle, friends of friends, and nothing more than that. These are your first users or your first customers, and you want them to test your product, give you feedback, actually use it, get value from it, and from then you can decide to understand how best you should build a final super product. So we have come to the end of this course. If you have any questions, I want you to go ahead and use the forums that are available to you on the e-learning platform and ask your questions, and myself and the other tutors will be here to answer you and to guide you into building your very first prototype. And so I would like to do a recap. The first thing is define the key functions of your product. The second thing, leverage already existing technology to build your MVP. And the last thing is to test it with your first set of users. And this set of users should be a very small group, your friends, friends of friends, and nothing too large. This is to allow you to get feedback on what you've built and to inform the building of a final product. Go ahead, take the test for this course, and I hope you build an amazing product and an amazing MVP. Goodbye for now.